Trump-loving attorney Lynn Wood was recently speaking at the South Carolina Bikers for Trump rally. Yes, there are still bikers for Trump. There are still rallies. In fact, the former president himself actually wants to get out and start doing more rallies, which I don't know why. I mean, I guess look, I guess it makes a certain amount of sense to start planning them if you're going to run. If you're going to run for president again, 2024, that's the rumor, of course, that's going around. Here we go. Nonetheless, oh, by the way, a Trump quote unquote third term was discussed during this rally, and that was one of the things that Linwood actually wanted to talk about, which is kind of odd when you think about it, because you can't win a third term if you never won a second. Just saying. Not only that, but if he was president, which he is not, clearly, even though, these psychotic people, these insane people keep saying the opposite, even if he was, he couldn't run for a third term because we have term limits. So, I mean, come on. The pretzels, the pretzeling has begun, okay? Although, I guess to be fair, Trump could always run as John Barron. So, again, the pretzeling, amazing. The kind of contortions they have to do mentally in order to make their insane worldview actually work. It's crazy. Now, Wood also says on Joe Biden that Biden's actually, he might be dead. Well, that'd be news to me. It'd be news to everybody. Apparently, he said only God knows if Joe Biden is dead or alive, saying that people you think are alive may be dead. Just think about that for a second. It shreds your brain. It gives you headaches. It really does. I can't believe that I have to say this, but Joe Biden is very much alive. Thank you. And look, I know deep fakes are getting pretty good and all, but it ain't that good. And honestly, I've never really understood the propensity on the right to rehash conspiracies that are essentially a retelling of Weekend at Bernie's. Parading around a dead person. Oh man, deep state. Let me tell you what the deep state is propping up Bill and Hillary's corpse. They're doing it together. They're putting him in dirty poses. It's very strange stuff that's happening. In fact, let's get a camera down there. Oh yeah. It's ridiculous. Why? Who cares, right? For one, I don't think anybody under 40 really cares about what the Clintons are doing. At least not that much. I wouldn't be shocked if it's mostly 79-year-old conservative Fox News watchers, retirees that are on the Newsmax and Fox News message boards that are still talking about Hillary Clinton and keeping these weird conspiracies alive. But for whatever reason, I think the rest of us, whether you're an older lib or younger progressive, we don't care. Well, what we want is good policy, essentially. Okay, that's it. Fair wages, good jobs, labor rights, healthcare. I think that's the majority of what most people want. Okay, none of these conspiracies have anything to do with that, and that's kind of the point. It's a gigantic distraction from actual issues. And look, Donald Trump had 4 years. He had, for a majority of them, had majority control of the government. They didn't solve any of those issues. They didn't even try. They just passed gigantic tax cuts for the rich. And that's it. Deregulation. They went after, they attacked industries, growing industries that provide, lots and lots of great paying jobs. In solar, for example, they attacked those industries. Well, I thought you were a friend of business. No, you're not a friend of business. You're a friend of corporations that are like big oil, for example, who give you lots and lots of money in donations. Okay. But here's the thing. Republicans at this point don't really stand for anything. And so all they go for is these distractions. Okay. Conservatives only focus on these distractions because they don't have a plan on healthcare. I mean, again, USM, who cares about healthcare when you've got a group of satanic pedophiles eating your kids while transgenders turn to frogs gay? Honestly, that's I really wish that was an exaggeration. But there's a conspiracy out there. There are so many, it's really hard to keep track. And which is funny because you want to talk about pedophiles, right? Well, I mean, a lot of the recent pedophilia scandals happen to involve conservatives like Josh Duggar, Roy Moore, chasing after young girls at the mall, getting kicked out of malls. Representative Matt Gaetz allegedly paying for a 17-year-old to have sex with her. I mean, there's all that. So now, that said, Wood, what's going to go on? Back to the subject, right? So Wood is going to go after. Okay, so the big thing about them is that they're going after the rhinos. They got to purge the Republican Party of the rhinos. Well, we need to elect the true conservatives that happen to buy into every single insane conspiracy theory that we're putting out there. Yeah, that's what we got to do. We got to go and vote for those people. We got to support those people. And anybody who even slightly opposes Donald Trump, doesn't completely kiss his ass, is somehow a rhino. Which is funny because Lindsey Graham tends to kiss Trump's ass a lot. But at the same time, here's what Lin Wood said about Lindsey Graham.
The pedophilia, the symbols, the sickness in this society, they think they're getting away with it. They're not getting away with it. Their time is short. Get ready for a new senator, too. I don't think Lindsey Graham's time is long. He's a rhino. And I'll tell you, in due time, every lie will be revealed. He's more than a rhino. Stay tuned. So prepare yourselves to rebuild America from the ground up. And I know that South Carolina led the way in the revolution. I know that South Carolina led the way when we had the Civil War. They divided it so that we could unite it. South Carolina is a leader in this country since it was inception.
South Carolina. So, okay. Now, this is where the conspiracies start to get a little dangerous, okay? You said, well, prepare to build America from the ground up. So now, he also mentioned, he talked about how they were going to arrest 80% of the congressmen. What? Again, what does that mean? I mean, build the country from the ground up, rebuild it. You can't really rebuild something unless it's been torn down in the first place, okay? And so you got to wonder, is he calling for violence? Is he the baddie? I think he is, and I think he's encouraging people in South Carolina to kick off a new civil war. I know. Call me hyperbolic for saying something like that, but understand that that's what some of these unhinged people actually want. The people in the far right, the real far right, want to do a secession. It's not like they haven't talked about it plenty of times. They want to set up their own little white ethno state with extreme capitalist elements. That's what it is. And that's why, of course, they keep pushing the racial divide, pushing racial divisions, white replacement theory. It's just full-on fascist stuff. Okay? So while on the one hand, you've got clown Lin Wood, look at the crazy man, he's saying all sorts of crazy things. And yet, what we have learned from January 6th is that there are enough of these people who listen to this stuff, who believe in this nuttiness, that they can do some serious harm to the country, that are driven by straight up lies and the stoking of racial tensions that you see on right-wing media. You see in these algorithms that are pushed on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, etc., pushing people constantly in the drive for clicks and views and ad revenue and all that stuff. And so this is something that is very, very, very concerning. And I do hope the Biden administration, and I haven't seen any reports on this one. I know the Obama administration definitely ignored, to the detriment of the country, the inherent danger in white nationalism, white supremacy, and focused, because of Republicans, ironically, saying how unfair it is that they were going after these groups, and got the administration back then to focus on Islamic terrorism. I hope that the Biden administration starts to take this take this seriously. I think that they are, but I haven't seen any reports on that, and so who knows? In the meantime, until they start taking this seriously, or at least until we know that they are, who knows what kind of violence and chaos they could end up doing and harm they could do to their fellow American citizens. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.